Hi there. I want to talk today about something which is quite controversial, but it's very important because it's one of the biggest decisions you're going to have to take. Bigger than buying a car, bigger than buying the property that you live in. This is what to do about your future. And many people resign from a job before they get to pensionable age. And many people take that money and blow it on holidays, on a new car, on renovations to their house. And when they get to pensionable age, when they want to retire, they have absolutely nothing. Very, very dangerous. And therefore, the advice normally, and it's normally from your pension manager, of course, the advice is please keep that pension going. And when you turn 60 or 65 or 55, you can start withdrawing that every month. You will have an income for life, and that income will grow every year according to inflation. Mwah! That's the theory. So, and many people do that, and well done, and it's a good thing to do. But there are alternatives, and I want you to think about some alternatives. And again, whatever you decide, please try to get independent financial advice. And this is very difficult. I'm independent. I've got nothing to do with any insurance companies, banks, stockbrokers, property agents, couldn't care less. But what I'm going to share with you is what I know from my own experience. But if you can get yourself some good independent financial advice, go for it. Unfortunately, 99% of the so-called financial advisors, they work for Old Mutual, Sanlam, Alexander Forbes, FNB, etc. So you're not going to get independent financial advice because they're going to try and sell you their product. If you speak to your pension manager or your human resource manager at work, that's also not independent because it's in their interest for you to carry on investing in their pension fund. So try to get financial advice. So, as I say, many people go for the pension fund, a lot of positives there. It's a hands-off investment. You don't have to worry about it. Your money is sitting there. Hopefully it'll grow. We'll talk about that just now. But hopefully over time it'll grow. Professionals are running it. They're sitting in a big office in the Windhoek city centre. And hopefully, when you retire, I say hopefully, but I mean 99% you will get your pension. When you retire, you'll get a guaranteed monthly pension for life. And as I say, that will grow every year to keep up with inflation. So you won't be begging on the street with $0. You will have 10, 15, 20,000, whatever the projection is, a month to keep you going for the rest of your life until the day you die. And it'll grow every year. Very nice. Negatives. Will there be steady growth? We'll come back to that now. No guarantee. The shares could go up, the shares could go down. And when I say shares, that's what your pension fund does, by the way. They don't make your pension appear from nowhere. They take all your money and they buy shares and properties. And with that, hopefully, it grows. But it's totally out of your control. This is what I don't like about it. And as we know, in the past year or so, we've had a lot of headlines about government interference, where you can't withdraw your money. Even when you turn 55 or you decide to retire, you can't withdraw the money. It's stuck. You can only have a monthly payment. My dear, it's your money. And government legislation here in Namibia now, it's crept up. It's now 45% must be invested locally. I don't want government to tell me what I must do with my pension money. I'll make a decision as to how to invest it. And I personally don't think investing 45% locally is a really good investment strategy at all. And here's the problem. This maybe for me is the main thing. And we're talking about somebody who's resigning early before they get to pensionable age. You're going to get nothing per month. That pension will sit there. Hopefully it'll grow. And when you want to retire, you're going to get money every month. But in the meantime, you get absolutely nothing. All the dividends that they're getting, the rental from income from properties, etc., they're getting it. And they're hopefully adding it to your pension pot. But the end result is, at the end of the day, you are getting nothing per month. And even when you retire, you're really at the hands of someone else. I'm a pensioner. I'm getting a pension. Amongst my other investments, I must say I'm quite diversified. But in terms of the pension, you get a letter once a year saying, oh, well, here's 4%. Here's 7%. This is what we've decided to give you. And you know, I feel like I'm a passenger on the ship, but I'd like to be the captain of my own ship. Do the pension funds grow? These used to be published in the Namibian Sun every day. I see they don't publish them anymore, but you can look them up on the internet and you can check these figures for yourself. But here's just a couple of so-called balanced funds and managed funds, whatever they're called, different companies here in Namibia. This is where your pension is. And what are these funds, by the way? They've invested in shares and bonds. Essentially, that's what they do. And they haven't done well. My goodness me. NAM, Balance Plus Fund, you've lost nearly 12% of your money. Your 5 million pension is now today, 8, 9 months, 10 months later, with 4.4 million. You've just lost nearly 600,000. That's what happens with shares. They can go up, they can go down. But again, you're sitting in the ship and somebody else is the captain, and this is what can happen. You know the headlines yourself. Pension fund access. People are being, the threat is from government that you will not be allowed to withdraw your pension early. And even when you retire at the age of 55, or if you're not 55 even, they're only going to give you 25% of the money that you saved. And when you do retire after 55, you'll not get it as a lump sum, but you'll only get it in monthly payments as they decide. My goodness me. Namibian government's sneaky trip to tap local retirement funds. Well, what have they done? They've increased the local asset requirement. Pension funds had to have 35% invested. Then it was 40. Then it was 42. 45% is where we are now. That must be invested locally. And it doesn't take a genius to look at the local shares to see that really they're not doing very, very well compared to other investments. Let's talk about property. That's the pension. Let's talk about property. Let's buy a property, maybe. What are some of the negatives? Well, there are going to be charges when you buy it, transfer duty, etc., etc. When you sell the property, there's going to be agents' commissions, etc., etc. Although here we're talking about somebody who's going to use this property as part of their pension. So you're not going to sell the property because you are looking for a monthly income. We're looking for what Robert Kiyosaki calls cash flow coming into your account every month. That's what we're looking for. So we're not going to sell this property. Ongoing monthly charges, there can be agents. Obviously, you need to have a managing agent to run it. Body corporate levies, maintenance will come, etc., etc. You can't sell part of the property. You can only sell all of it. But that can be a good thing. We'll come back to that now. You could have bad tenants who don't pay or they refuse to leave. You could buy a property in a bad area. I haven't had any of these bad experiences. I buy kind of flats that are not in the middle of town, not in a poor area, low class area, kind of middle class, a little bit away from town, 2-bedroom flats, and they seem to have done all right. And I always have an agent, of course, who handles them. What are the positives of the property? It's yours. You can feel it, you can see it, you can drive down and have a look at it. You can even live in it if you want to. Inheritance. Your will specify exactly who will inherit the property or the monthly rental. It's difficult to sell. This is you might think this is a negative, but it is a positive, because when we're talking about your pension money, we're trying to retain it. At least the bulk of the money, we need to retain it and make it grow. So the fact that you'd be reluctant to sell your $1 million property or $900,000 property is probably, I think it's a good thing. On the other hand, a positive, it's easy to sell. If you really do want to sell that $900,000 or $1 million property, go to the lawyer, sign a letter, and within a few months you'll get your money, presuming you can find a buyer for it. But of course, that's when your agent can help you. Here we come again. You get rental income as from day one. From the day you leave your company, you take your pension and you've bought this property, you're getting rental income as from day one. Let's say you're now 40. Let's say you're now 50. That means you've got another 20 or 25 years or 15 years of rental income coming into you that you can then reinvest, or you can use it to supplement your income after you've left your job. Which is really useful. So, as I say, you can reinvest that income, or you can use it to boost your monthly salary. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is Cape Town, and here's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's in an area called Somerset West. It's not in Cape Town. It's about 30 kilometers outside Cape Town, but freeway connecting you. A lot of people work in Somerset West, so that's what you need to think of as a landlord. Will I get tenants who can fill this property? 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, very nice, and it's currently tenanted like that, and it's got a communal swimming pool, a clubhouse, play area for children, etc., etc., etc. Prepaid electricity and water meters. We like that because we don't want to be hassling with electricity and water. That's the problem of the tenant. So here's exactly the same complex, Somerset Sereno, and this is a rental property. 2-bedroom apartment on the ground floor. Complex is a swimming pool, we know that, and it's $10,000 a month. This seems a bit high to me. I would think you get $9,000, maybe $8,500 a month, but that's fine. On that property, your levies would be $1,300 a month, and your rates and taxes $350. Let's make that $1,700, $1,800 plus maintenance. We'll maybe make that $2,000. So we're probably going to get about $9,000 in, $2,000 for all of these expenses. We'll probably make between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. We'll come back to that now. Oh, there, I've done the calculations for you. $5,200 a month after all of these deductions. By the way, maintenance is not such a problem in a complex like this because you're paying levies, and the levies cover all of the external painting. Even problems such as a geyser breaking is normally covered by the body corporate insurance, so that's all covered with the levies. And let's look at something else you could do with your pension, and I'm going to put them both together in the end. We can buy some shares. Here's just a couple of shares. Diversify them. So different sectors: insurance, banking, retail, mining, an ETF, and property, etc., etc. And you can see the dividend yield. This is Anglo American, Lewis Stores, Nedbank, Quilter, Sanlam, and you can see 11, 7, 5, 28, 6, da 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 da. Average 10.6 dividend yield. What does that mean? Well, if my investment on the left there, my investment is 2 million from my pension fund, I'm going to get, after dividend tax, which is in Namibia is 15% after tax, after tax, by the way. Wait till you get your retirement annuity and your pension. They're going to deduct tax, PAYE, from it, even though you're a pensioner. This is after tax, 14,900, call it 15,000 a month from my shares and the dividends. So, putting the two together, maybe we take 2 million and put it into those shares or some other shares, and we take 900,000 and we put that into a flat. We've now got an income per month of 20,000 Namibian dollars as from today. As from the day you buy the shares, as from the day you buy the property, every month you're getting an income. Of course, with the shares, your dividend is paid every 6 months, so I'm dividing that by 6, but every month you're going to get about 20,000 bucks a month. And of course, when you do decide to retire, all of this is still there. The property is still there. All of your shares are there. You haven't touched them. You're getting lots of dividends every month, and of course the rent has gone up in your property. So as a pensioner, you should now be okay because you're getting these income streams. What are the advantages? As I say, 20 years' time or 15 years' time, you decide to retire. Value of the shares should have grown. The value of the property should have grown. Your dividend should have grown, and your monthly rental income should have grown. Should have, may not, but I find it highly unlikely. Over the past 20 years, yes, rentals have gone up. Yes, dividends have gone up on average. And you are getting a monthly pension now. I don't have to wait until I retire. I'm getting that money now every single month. And I've retained my base investment. I haven't eaten into my pension fund at all. I haven't touched it, basically. It's flexible. You can sell some of those shares. Please don't. This is not what it's about. You're a pensioner. You need that money. Don't sell the shares. But worst comes to the worst, you can do it. You can even sell your property. Don't, because this is your pension fund. So please don't do it. But you are the captain of your ship. no government interference, and you can decide what to do with your money. There are dangers. And the dangers is because you control it, you've got nobody to blame. If the value of the flat falls, if you have problems getting a tenant, if the value of your shares fall, you can't sleep at night because you're so stressed about this investment, which has gone down, and you saw what's happened to Namibian shares over the past year, and you can say, well, I'm blaming myself. Whereas when you have a pension fund, you kind of think, well, Old Mutual, Sanlam, whoever's they're in charge of the pension fund, they must know what they're doing. Let me not say anything. If you have a weak mind, you could be tempted to dip into this. Hey, the shares are there. I need a new car. And I want to go on holiday overseas. Let me take out 100,000, 200,000. Just sell a few shares. So you have to have a strong mind. You have to realize this is my pension fund. I'm leaving it. I'm getting my 20,000 a month. I'm quite happy with that. But I'm going to leave the bulk of the money there. And there are tax implications. Folks, please speak to a tax consultant. When you take out your pension money early, you're going to get hit with tax from the receiver of revenue. So be very careful about that. Nothing you can do about it. You're going to have to take that into your calculations, but there is a tax implication in terms of withdrawing your pension fund early. So please seek independent advice. Good luck, but you may have to pay somebody, but they need to be independent to give you good advice. Speak to a tax consultant, speak to stockbrokers, speak to property agents, find out how this works, whether what I'm saying is nonsense. And it's not, because I've done it myself. But, if you think it's nonsense, please get advice. And remember that buying a selection of shares and living off the dividends and buying properties, that's exactly what your pension fund would be doing with your money. Except they charge you fees, they don't give you the dividends, and they don't give you any of this until the day you decide to retire. And then they're going to hand you out your little bit of money every month as your pension. And the final thing is trust yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope the advice is maybe useful to you. This is a big decision. This is a lot of money, and you need to think very carefully about this. But I'm just giving you some options to think about. To cut a long story short, if you're going to leave a company at the age of 40, 45, even 50, to get a monthly payout and maybe to reinvest that really can make your investment grow, compared to the pension fund where you get nothing until you decide to actually retire. All right. Good luck.